Hello guys, it is Shivam here. Welcome back to our channel. Today we have an exciting tutorial for you. We will be showing you how to create fully functional chat app in Flutter and Firebase. In this video, we will cover setting up Firebase as our backend, designing stunning user interface, implementing secure user authentication, real-time chat. If you find the content valuable and want to see more tutorials like this, please take a moment to hit that like button down below. Our goal for this video is 100 likes. Every like counts. Also, do not forget to hit that subscribe button so that you won't miss out any upcoming video on this channel. So, let's get started. But before moving to the code, let me show you what all things we will learn on today's video and how your app will communicate between the two devices. On the left side, you can see the screen recording of my real Android device where I run the app. So I will create a new account in my real device. So I am writing here name Satyam Sharma and email satyam244 at the rate gmail.com and will give password and confirm password. Now I will click on the sign up button, wait for a few seconds. So as you can see, we have registered successfully. Now I will move to the our iPhone emulator and I will create a new account to this device. So in name I am writing Prem Sharma and email I will give prem345 at the rate gmail.com. Now password and confirm password. Click on the sign up button. Wait for a few seconds. So as you can see, we have registered successfully. Now I will search for the username Satyam here that we have created the account on my real device. So I will search Satyam here. Now you can see the username here. I will click to the username and will move to the chat page. Now I will write the text inside the text field. So hey, now after sending the message, you can see that Satyam have received the message from Prem in just few seconds. Now I will reply to the Prem, which is our emulator. So as you can see, we have received the message, hey here. Now I will write, how are you doing? And will send the message. And we received the message in our emulator in few seconds. So as you can see, our app is running successfully in all the device and you can see the real-time chat what I am talking about. So now Satyam send the message to Prem and Prem have received the message in just few seconds. So as you can see how the two devices are communicating each other or sending the message very easily and they are getting the message in just few seconds. So this is what you will see at the end of this video. So I am creating the folder named pages here. Now inside the pages folder I am creating the new file named signing.dart. Now inside the signing.dart file I will create a stateful widget named sign in. One more thing I want to tell you that whenever you want to use set state, then you have to always use a stateful widget. You can't use a set state inside the stateless widget. Now let's move to the main.dart file and give a debug so check mode banner to false. The reason for doing it false because when you run the app, you see a red ribbon type structure at the top. To remove that, you have to make it to false. Now I am running the app in without a debug mode because I want to show you update after writing each line of code here. So let me launch the app Now I am using a scaffold widget, body, container, child, column. As you can see here, some blue lines are appearing below the widget. To remove these blue lines, in my case, I am using two lines of code in analysis options.yml file and paste that two lines below the rules. As you can see here, after using the two lines of code here, the blue lines below a widget disappears. Sorry, I need a stack widget here. So I am removing the column and writing the stack here. The reason for using a stack here, because as you seen, I have to overlap a two container over the container. So whenever you want to overlap the two widgets over the another, then you have to always use a stack widget here. So app has launched successfully, as you can see here, but let's move to the main.dot file and we need to call a signing page here. So I'm writing signing here and hot reload. Now we'll create a container here and give a height media query dot of context dot size dot height divide by 3.5. The reason for using media query is that it makes the app highly responsive. But if you give fixed height or width to the container and check your app in multiple devices, then you can face the overflow error because every device has its on screen size. So I'm writing decoration, box decoration, and I will give a linear gradient color here. So I'm using a colors and I will give you a custom color as you can see here, and one more color because the using for linear gradient color is because I want to mix two colors here. So as you can see here, we have got a container and we have mixed two color here. But I want to begin the two colors from the top left and end at bottom right. I want to also tell you the reason for using a begin and end here. Basically, as you can see here in colors, I have provided a two color here. So if you use a begin, then it will begin a first color from the top left position and end the second color in the bottom right position. So as you saw on the UI that we need a curve container here. So I will use a border radius dot vertical. I want to make container curve from the bottom, so I'm using a bottom radius elliptical. I want a x to cover the full width of the screen, so I'm giving media query dot of context dot size dot width, and in y axis I need some curve, so I'm using 105.0, which means that will make a curve according to me. I am fixing a height here. I am doing it 4.0. So now it is perfect. Now let's move to the column children and we'll provide the text over this container. So I'll write sign in and provide a style to this text. So use a text style color colors dot white font size 20.0 and font weight dot bold. I will make it to center. Now I will give some padding. So I'm wrap it with the padding widget. Now, now I will use edge inset dot only top 20.0. This means that it will give a padding from the top to the column widget. Fixing some font size. Now I'll copy this text again and paste it here. Into that I will write login to your account. I'll give a font size 20.0 and make a font weight W500 and change some font size 18, and I will give a custom color here as you can see on the screen. Now I will write a container here and want to provide a container over this curved container. That's why I have used a stack widget here. So now you get a clarity why I have used a stack here. Now I will give height media query dot of context dot size dot height divide by 2 and width media query dot of context dot size dot width. Box decoration colors dot white, and will give a border radius. Basically border radius make your container round according to your preference. We'll give some margin here. Edge inset dot symmetric vertical 20.0. So it is done. Now we'll wrap the container with a material widget. Basically material widget makes your container in very highlighted form. So let's give a border radius to a material widget and we'll wrap the material widget with a container because we want to provide a margin over the material widget here. So as you can see, we have got a perfect container here. Now over the container, I will write a child, column, children, and will provide a two text field name, email and password here. So container child will write text field so the user can write a text using a text field widget. So now decoration, box decoration, border dot all with color black 38. Decoration, input decoration, border dot none. Basically I've used input border dot none because whenever you run a text field, you always find some line in that text field. To remove that line, you can use border input border dot none here. Will provide some padding vertical and horizontal. We'll also provide some border radius to a container circular 10. As you can see on the container, when you write something, I want to give a padding on the left side of the container so it looks more good, and it will be easy for the user to see what have user entered on this text field. So I will give a padding on the left side of the container. So I will use padding edge insert dot only left 10.0. So as you can see here, after giving the padding on the left side, it looks really more clear and easy for user to type in. Now I will write a text here, and in this text I will write email so that user can get a hint that they have to type email on this text field. We'll give a colors dot black, font size 18.0, font weight dot w500. So as you can see here, the email has come on the center, but I want to bring on the left side. So I will use cross axis alignment dot start. Basically, when you provide this command on the column widget, then it shifts all the widgets to the start position, basically in the cross axis of a column widget. Here I want to give some icon of email so it looks more attractive, and it will give a hint to the user to enter email on this field. So I will write prefix icon. Basically, if you want to provide the icon in the start position of the text field, I mean on the left side of the text field, then you have to use a prefix icon. But if you want to provide the icon on the right side, I mean on the end position, then you have to use a suffix icon inside the text field widget. So I will write prefix icons dot mail outline. Now I will copy the same color and give it to the icon here. Yeah, it's look more attractive now. So I'll copy this text and text field here, and I will paste it here because I need user to enter a password here. So I will write password, also change the icon to password. So icons dot password in text field. In password text field, I want that whenever the user types the password, then it doesn't appear on the text form. It should be appear in the dotted form. This is how usually password works in all the apps. So in the text field, you need to use auth secure text to true. Basically, making the auth secure text to true, you are securing the text by showing the text in the dotted form. So here it is done. Now I'm writing the text here, and as you can see, the text are appearing in the dotted form. Now I will give a size box height 20.0. So I provided the height above the container to look it more clear and attractive. I have provided text name forgot password. If the user has forgot the password, then they will click on the forgot password text and move to the forgot password screen where they can change their password. Now I will write a text name forgot password here and wrap with a container. I want to show the forgot password in the right side. So I will use a container and give alignment dot bottom right, which makes a forget password on the right side of the screen. Now I'll give a size box height 10.0 and fix some size. Now I will make a custom button name sign in here. So I'll use a container text name sign in, give some style to a text widget here. Now I'll give a decoration, box decoration, and we'll give a custom color, give a padding edge inset dot all to 10. Now I'll provide a size box name 40.0 and will give a space according to the your convenience. I am giving a width here and wrapping with the text again on center to make it to the center of the container. Now we'll wrap it with a material widget and give elevation 5.0 to look it more attractive. Wrapping with the container again and giving the width to this container and wrapping with a center widget to make a material widget again on the center. So it is done. Now we'll also provide a border radius to the material widget. Now you must be thinking why I don't use a elevated button here. You can use the elevated button here. There is no problem in that, but usually I need to create a customized button. So I usually use a container to make a customized button according to my choice, because using a container will allow me to give a width, color, border radius and many more things according to my choice, which help me to make a customized button more easily rather than using a elevated button here. Basically, as you can see, if I use a single text here and write don't have an account, sign up now. So I can't provide a two color in a single text using a text widget. I want to provide don't have an account in black color and sign up now in different color. But I can't do that using a one single text widget. So I will use a row here. In row, I will pass don't have an account in single black color and another text name sign up now in different color, which makes the sign up now in the highlighted form, and whenever user click on the sign up now text, then they move to the sign up page. One more thing I want to tell you that you can use a rich text here. Basically, in rich text, you can use a two text together and can manage their color and gesture detector together. In this text, you can provide two different color and take a two different action on the two different text widget. But in my case, rather than using the rich text, I use a row here to make it more simple for the beginners who are watching this tutorial. Now I'll use main axis alignment dot center to center the row. We'll give some more space. So it is done. Now user can write email and password here. Now we'll create a new page name signup.dart and we'll use a same stateful widget here and name the stateful widget sign up. So as you seen on the UI that I've shown on the starting of the video, sign up page looks similar to the signing page. So I will copy the code of the signing page from here and make some changes and add text field name here. And we'll also remove a forgot password because we don't need a forgot password in the sign up page. So I'll copy the complete code from here and paste it on signup.dart page, and we'll do some customization on this code to make it for sign up page. I will write sign up, login into your account. I will remove that and write a create a new account, as you can see here. We'll copy the text and the text field and paste it here because we want the user to write the name here when they are signing it up and creating a new account. So as you can see here, after adding the third text field, it is showing some overflow error. So we'll increase the size of the container by making it to 1.5. You can customize the height according to your choice. So I'm doing it to 1.7. So it looks better now. Now we'll remove the forgot password because we don't want in the sign up page. I will use one more text field so that user can confirm the password what they have entered here. So I'm writing confirm password and give a height, and we'll move the text inside the container and move the button outside the container. So we'll paste the container here, as you can see here. So we'll fix some height. Now we want to use a complete width of the screen. So I will use width media query dot of context dot size dot width and give a margin so it looks more better and attractive, and name it to sign up. So it is done. Let's move to the pages folder and we will create a new file name home.dart. Now inside the home.dart file, I will create a stateful widget named home here. Now I will remove the container and write scaffold body container child column children. So now I'll give a background color to a scaffold widget and we'll give a custom color here. Now I will call the home page and I will show how it looks here. So as you can see, giving the background color to a scaffold widgets covers the complete screen here. Now I will give row children. Inside the row widget, I will use a text widget and I will write a app name. So I'm giving a random app name. So I'm writing chat up. Now I will give a style to this text widget. So I'm writing text style color So I will give a custom color here. As you can see on the top, chatter text has appeared. Now I will give a font size and font weight and give some margin so that it can be seen by the users clearly. Now I'll give some margin edge inset dot symmetric vertical 40.0 and horizontal 20.0. Now I am fixing the font size and will give the icons dot search. As I told you, the reason for giving icons dot search is that whenever the user wants to search the username, they will click on the search icon and can type the username and can have the chat with them. Main axis dot alignment dot space between provides a maximum space between the widgets. Now I'll write the icon with the container and write decoration, box decoration, color, and we'll give a custom color here. Now, as you can see, when I'm writing the custom color, I always start with 0xFF. Basically, it signifies the color code we are giving here. Now, if you just write a color code like 3A2144, then it will doesn't signify the color that we are giving here. To signify that color, we'll need to write a code named 0xFF. That is not necessary to write a capital F or small f. You can use anything here. Basically, before mentioning all the user chats, we will make a container here in some rounded structure where top left and top right are in the circular position, and on that container we will provide all the chats of the user here. Now decoration, box decoration, color, we'll write colors dot white, provide border radius, so I'm writing border radius dot only top left radius dot circular 20. So I'm giving a height media query dot of context dot size dot height divide by 3. Now I'll give a width media query dot of context dot size dot width. So as you can see the container here with the rounded top left and top right. Now I will remove the margin here because I want this container to complete the whole width of the screen. So I will go to the container and remove the margin from here. Now I'll wrap a row with the padding widget and use edge inset dot only left 20.0 and right 20.0 and top 40.0. So as you can see, now our container is covering the whole width of the screen. Now it's look better. So we'll change the height to 1.15 so it covers the complete screen of our device. As I have shown you in the first video of the complete UI of our chat app, there you can see on the home page we have provided the user pic with their name and the last text they received with the time. Now I will show you how to show the images in the app if the images are saved in the local file. So I will write here image.asset Basically, I am using asset here because whenever you want to call the images from the local file, then you need to write image.asset here. Now, if you want to call image from the server or from other network in and the image is in the form of the link or something, then you need to use image.network here. So image.asset, and you need to paste the location of the image you want to show. Make sure it should be exact what the name of the picture you have given. Now I provide the height to the image and fit boxfit.cover. The reason for using fit boxfit.cover is that whenever you're providing the height 30 with 30, or you are wrapping the image in the container and giving the fixed height and width to the container, and you want that image to cover the complete height and width of that container, then always use fixboxfit.cover, which makes you the image to use the complete container height width that you have given here. Now I will wrap up the image with a widget named clip react. Let me explain you why I have used clip react here. Basically, if you need the image in the circular form, then you need to wrap up the image with the clip react widget and provide the border radius to make it circular. Many of the users might be thinking why we don't use a container here, and wrapping up the widget image widget with a container, then providing the border radius in the decoration box decoration. But the result, you will see that wrapping up with a container, the image will not be in the circular form. So make sure don't wrap image with a container and provide the border radius there, rather than use a clip react widget and provide the border radius to a clip react widget. Now I need to provide the user name here. So I'm writing a text widget. Now inside the text widget, I'm giving the username. Now I'll provide some style to this text widget. So colors.black, font size 20, and font weight W500. I wrote the username in the column widget, so I need to cut the username from here and paste it inside the row widget. Now I'll use cross-axis alignment dot start to move the username at the top. Now I'll provide some width, so I will use size box with 10.0. Now I will change the font size. Now I'll wrap up the text widget with the column widget because I want to provide the last text that user received below the username. So I am copying the text widget and pasting it inside the column widget. Now I will write the last text here. I want name and last text should be in the start position in the column widget. So I'm using cross axis alignment dot start. Now I'll change the color of the last text. We'll change the font size to. We'll also give the height from the top. So I'm using height 10.0. Basically, these things are something which developers should notice and do a customization on the UI on their own way. So if you want a font size bigger in size and color on the different way, you can choose both the ways. It's totally up to you. So now I am adding the time here. So after adding the time, you can see there is some overflow error. So I will make the text more smaller. So it is done now. Now I'll use the same color that I have used in the last text. Now I'll copy the complete row widget and paste it here to show one more chat of the another user. Will give some height. We'll change the image, name and last text here. So as you can see, after writing the text, the time is not in the complete alignment according to the first user chat. So I will use a spacer here to provide me the maximum space between the two widgets. So our home page is done. Now let's move to the chat page.dart where we'll make the UI of the complete screen where the user will have the chat with the specific user. So I'm writing a stateful widget named chat page. Now scaffold, body, container, child, column. We will use the same background color that we used on the home page. So I'll copy the background color from here and paste it inside the scaffold widget. So now I will use a row widget and rename the column widget with a stack widget, and inside the row widget I am giving a icons dot arrow back iOS new outline because I want to make the user, after having the chat, they click on the back button and comes to the home page where they can have the chat with the other user too. Now I'll give some margin here. Now I'll copy the same color and paste it here. Instead of writing the text widget again and again, I will go to the home page, copy the text from widget from here, paste it here, and we will write the username to whom we are having a chat. So I'm writing Shivam Gupta and font size 20.0, font weight W500. Basically, I am customizing the text widget according to my choice. If you want the font size and font weight according to your choice, you can use anything you want. And if you want to change the color to a text widget, then you can also give a different color to a text widget. So I'm providing some space between the back arrow and the text. So I'll try to make a text widget in the center so it looks better. So I'm providing the width 90.0. Now I will write a text in the container form and I will show you how the text will be shown when the user will send a text. Sorry, I did a small mistake. I don't need a stack widget here. So I'm removing that and writing the column widget. Now I'm writing the container decoration, box decoration. So inside this container, I will create the two container where I will show you how it will look when the user will receive and send the message to the user. So I am creating a child column. Now inside the column widget, I will write container decoration, box decoration. color, where I will give a custom color inside the border radius. I will use border radius dot only, top left radius dot circular 10. Now top right radius circular again 10. Same for the bottom left. Now inside the container widget I will write child text. Now I need to move the container to the right side of the screen, so it will show that the message has been sent by us. And if we want to show the message sent by the different user, then we'll move the container to the left. So I am giving a margin edge insert dot only left media query dot of context dot size divide by 2. Now I'll give some padding. Now we will give a style to the text widget according to the choice. Text widget and container widget according to my choice. If you have any better idea or better design, you can do by in own way. There is no need to use exactly what color and what font size I am using in the container and text widget. If you have any better color or better idea, you can use that. So it is done. Now we'll copy the container and paste it on column widget again, because we want to also show that if the other user have sent the message, then how it will look. As I said, we'll move the container to the left side of the screen. So I am giving the margin from the right side and will change the border radius to show that the message has been sent by the other user, and we'll also change the color because we want this container to be on the different color so that user doesn't get confused which message they have received from the other user. Now I'll create a section where from the user can type a message and can send the message to the other user. This can be done by using a text field here. So I'm writing container child row. Inside the row widget, I am writing a text field. Decoration input decoration border input border dot none. Now I am wrapping up the text field with the expanded widget because we are using the text field inside the row widget. Now if you use a text field directly inside the row widget without using the expanded widget, then it will show the error. Basically, using the expanded widget tell the text field widget to use as much area they can. So I am providing some decoration to the container widget. So I'm writing decoration box decoration colors.white, border radius, dot circular 20. Now I am wrapping up the container with the material widget to show that in the highlighted form so that the user gets the hint to type the message and send the message from here. I am using a spacer. I also want to provide some padding from the bottom, so I am moving to the container padding and adding the bottom padding from here. I am copying the border radius and using the same border radius in the material widget, so it makes the border circular according to the material widget here. So it looks better now. Now I will provide some hint text and write type a message, and will provide some padding edge insert dot only left 10.0. Will also provide some style to the hint. So I'm writing hint style, text style, color, colors dot black 45. You might be thinking that what are black 45, black 38, black 54? Basically, these are the different shades of a black color. So you can use a different shades of a black color according to your choice. So now it's look perfect. Now we'll write icons dot send, and we'll provide a custom color to this icon. So I'm writing color and providing the custom color here. Basically, this is a section from where you can provide a customized color according to your choice. You just need to move the circle into the different shades and you can use the color according to your choice. Now we'll wrap up the icon with the container widget, and we'll add decoration, box decoration, color, and we'll provide the customized color here. We'll give some padding, border radius, dot circular. Now we'll make the icons to the center of the container so it looks better now. Now the user can type the message from here and will click on the send button and they will send the message to the other user. So now let's move to the Firebase and connect our app with the Firebase. Now we need to give a project name here, so I'm writing chat app. Click on continue. Again on continue. Now use default account for Firebase, create project. As you can see, Firebase is creating a project, so wait for a few seconds. So it is done. Now I'll connect the iOS app here. But if you want to connect the Android app, then I will paste the one of my video link in the description box where I told you that how to connect the complete Android app with the Firebase. So as you can see, we need a Apple bundle ID. So I will go to the Xcode and copy the bundle identifier from there and paste it here. Go to this runner. Now click on signing and capabilities. Copy the bundle identifier from here and paste it here. Now click on register app. Wait for a few seconds. Now download Google service info.plist file and we need to paste this file in Xcode below the info. And make sure it should be Google service dash info.plist file. If anything is written rather than this, then make sure you edit them. Now click on finish. So it is done. Now click on next. Again on next. Now continue to the console. So as you can see, we have connected the iOS app successfully. Now let's move to the authentication and we need to enable email and password section here. So go to the email and password, click on enable, now click on save. So as you can see, email and password has been enabled. Now let's move to the Firestore database because we need to upload the user data in Firestore database. Now click on create database, select the production mode, click on next. Now click on enable button again. So as you can see, Firestore is setting up the security rules. So wait for a few seconds. Now go to the rules. We need to remove false and make it to true. Now click on publish button. One more thing I want to tell you that don't forget to change the rule and make it to true because without doing this you can't upload the user data in Cloud Firestore. Now let's move to the pub dev and we need to add some of the packages in our Flutter app. Copy the dependency from here and paste it on perspec.yaml file. Now we need Firebase auth package here because as we need the authentication in our Flutter app, so we need a Firebase auth package here. Let's move to the dependencies and copy the dependency from here and same paste it on perspec.yaml file. Now to upload the data to the Cloud Firestore, we need a Cloud Firestore package. So we'll follow the same procedure. So it is done. Now run the packages. Now let's move to the main.dart file because we need to initialize the Firebase core function here. Now let's move to the signup.dart file and I will add a few lines of code here to allow the user to sign up in the app and move directly to the home page. Basically, I will write 4 strings here, namely name, email, password and confirm password. You might be thinking that why I am using a string here. The reason for using string is that whenever user enter the text in this text field, like for an example, if the user enter the text in the name text field, then we will get that text that the user enter in the text field in our name string, and then we will use that string to provide the authentication to the user into the app. So I'm writing text editing controller mail controller equals to new text editing controller. Now I'll create the same text controller for other three text field. So it is done. Now I will write a registration function here. Basically, when the user will click on the sign up button, then we will call the registration function and allow the user to sign up into the app. So let me write the few lines of code for this function. So it is done. Now you might be thinking what all things I have wrote here, like I have used a global key, form state, and what all things I have wrote inside the registration function. Basically, I have explained all these things in my one of my video where I told about these things in more detail. I will don't repeat all these things here because then this video will become very long for the user to watch. I will recommend you to go and watch that video where I have told a complete Firebase authentication using email and password and explained you each line what I have wrote here. So now let's move to the column widget and we'll wrap up a column widget with a form widget and provide a key here. So I'm writing key, form key, and writing text form field controller will provide mail controller and validator. Basically, I want to tell you the reason why I am using validator here. Basically, it checks the value if it is null or empty. If the value is null or empty, it will pass a text that please enter your mail here. Let me also change the icon of name here because it shows exactly what we have used in the email section. So I'm writing icons.person outline. As you can see, person icon has been come here. Now I'll write text form field and we'll copy the same controller and paste it here. So sorry, I'd make a small mistake. I've used a mail controller inside a name text field. So let me rename the mail controller with a name controller here. So now let me add the controller and validator to each text field. So it is done. Now let's move to the sign up button and we'll call a registration function here. So if form key dot current state dot validate, basically I am using a form key dot current state dot validate function here because so that I wrote validator on each text field. So if each text field return us that there is some text has written on each text field like name, email, password, confirm password, then it will go to the set state method and will rename the each string here. So email equals to mail controller dot text and same for the name, password and confirm password. And at last we'll call a registration function if all the validator case is true. But before that we need to upload the user data to the Firebase Firestore. So I'm creating a map string and dynamic naming a map user info map. Let me explain you why I am using a map here. Basically map is a key value pair. So basically our key is something on string like name, email, password, ID, photo, etc. And dynamic is something where we can pass anything like string, integer, float, double, anything. So I'm writing name and we are writing name controller.text. So basically name is a string here and name controller.text is a dynamic here. Name controller.text gets the name from the text field in the text form and pass to the string name here. Basically we need a username here. The reason for uploading the username is that because we need to provide a specific username to each user here. So they can be justified with the specific username here. So each user have their own specific username. So I'm writing here mail controller dot text dot replace all at the rate gmail.com and will replace this with a space. Let me explain you what really this command does. So when I'm writing a mail like shivam234 at the rate gmail.com, so this command will remove at the rate gmail.com and replace with a space we have provided here. So your username will become shivam234. Now we'll provide a picture of the user here. So basically I am uploading some random picture of the user here in the form of a link so that whenever we call the picture from the server then so it will easy for you us to use image.network function to call the image in our app. Though now we are giving a specific picture to a user, but after sign up into the app, user can change their picture and can add any picture they want. So as you can see, I have pasted some link here. Now let me press on this link and as you can see, a random user image has been shown here. And this image will show when the user sign up into the app, but they can change when they want. Now I will create a string ID. Basically I want to provide some random ID to the user because when we will track the user details in Firebase, then we just need this ID so that it will be easy for us to track the user detail in Firebase. But before that, we need to add a package name random string here. Basically, random string provide a random alphanumeric character to a string. So string ID is equals to random alphanumeric 10 and will paste same ID here. So I'll write ID and we'll call the same ID. Now we need to create a file name database.dart where we call all the function from that file and will upload the data to the Firebase Firestore. Let me show how we will do that. So, but before that, I am creating a new folder name service here, and inside the service folder, I will create a file name database.dart. I will write class name database methods. Basically, in this project, I will write all the function related to the Firebase in class name database methods here. The reason for doing that, if I will write all the function in the same page, then it will be easy for the user to change the function they want in their way. For now, if the user write all the function at the same place where they are calling a map, then it will become something messy for the user to change the function according to their way. I'm writing future add user detail and will create a map string dynamic, and in string we will pass a specific ID that we have wrote using a random alphanumeric function. Now Firebase Firestore dot instance dot collection and will give a collection name users here. We will give a specific ID to the doc here, so we'll write dot doc id and we'll use a set method to upload our map to Firebase Firestore. So it is done. Now let me call this function here. So I will write await database methods dot add user detail and will pass the user info map and that id here. So this function will help the user to upload the data to Firebase Firestore. Now, one more thing I want to tell you that we want to save the user data locally too. The reason for saving the user data locally is that we need user name, email, and his picture and ID again and again. Now, to get the all the data, we need to save some of the data locally, so we don't have to call the function again and again and get the data from the server. So to save the data, I am using a package name share preference here, which allow us to save the data locally in our Flutter app. So I'm creating a new file name shared pref.dart where we will write all the code related to the shared preference. Now let's move to the shared pref.dart file and we'll create a class name shared preference helper here, and inside that basically I am writing a string name user id key where we will save the specific id that we are giving to each user here, and we will create other string also name, email, username, user's picture. Now we need to save the user data locally. So we'll call a function name save user ID here. So we will write a function name save user ID here, and in string we will get the user ID shared preferences pref await shared preference await share preference dot get instance. Now using the pref key we will save the user data here. Now using the pref key will set a string. So first we are writing a string name here. So I am writing user id key and we will save the id to a user id key. So I am writing the string name get user id here. Now I will write the other function for all the other strings like name, email. So this was the method where we are saving the user detail. Now we want to also show the user detail. So we'll use a get user ID function to show the user detail in our app that we have stored locally in our app. So we'll write the same command shared preferences pref await share preferences dot get instance. Now we'll get the string from the user ID key. I forgot to mention the user display name. Let me add that string too. So it is done. Now let's move and we'll use a save method to save all the user data locally in our Flutter app. So I'm writing await shared preferences helper dot save user ID and we'll pass the ID here. We'll write same function for other strings too. In save user pic, we'll paste the same link of the image. So it is done. Now let's move to the terminal and run our app. So I am writing Flutter clean here. Now Flutter pub get to get all the packages in our app. Now Flutter run command. Now press enter. Wait for a few seconds. So as you can see, our app has launched successfully. Now I will call sign up page here. So let me write sign up in main.file and hot restart. So now I'll fill name, email, password and confirm password and will sign up into the app. So in name, I'm writing the username here. So I'm writing Shivam Gupta. Inside mail, I'm writing Shivam2345 at the rate gmail.com. I'm writing password here and same password in confirm password. So it is done. Now click on the sign up button, wait for a few seconds. But before clicking on the sign up button, we need to push the user to the home page. So I am using navigator.push replacement here. Let me explain you why I don't hear navigator.push here. If I use navigator.push here, then if the user sign up into the app and goes to the home page, when they click on the back button, then the user can easily come to the sign up page again. But if you use a push replacement, then once the user sign up and goes to the home page, then there is no choice to come back to the sign up page. Now click on the sign up button, wait for a few seconds. So as you can see, we have registered successfully and moved to the home page of the app. Now let's move to the Firebase and let me show you what all things are uploaded to the Cloud Firestore. So let me refresh the page. After refreshing the page, you can see the collection name users here and with a specific doc ID and email, ID, name, photo and username what we have entered in the sign up page. As you can see, the username is Shivam234. What I have told you there that the app will remove at the rate gmail.com from the email and will name it to Shivam234. Now let's move to the sign in.dart file and add the few lines of code so the user can sign in into the app. So we will use two string name, email and password here. The reason for using email and password, as I told you before, so whenever the user will enter the email using a text editing controller, then we'll get the text from the text field and will save the text into the these two strings. Now text editing controller user mail controller equal to new text editing controller. The reason for using text editing controller is that we can manage whatever the user write on this text field using a text editing controller. Basically, whenever the user type the email or password in this text field, then we can handle the text using this text controller. Now I will write a function name user login. So whenever the user click on the signing button, then the user login function will be called and the user can successfully sign in into the app and will move to the home page of the app. So let me write the few lines of code into this function. So it is done. Now I will write a global key here. Now we'll go to the column and wrap up the column widget with a form widget and we'll give the key name form key. Now we'll write text form field and we'll give the controller user mail controller and we'll write the same validator that we wrote on the sign up page. So if value is null or empty, will return that please enter your email. Now we'll copy the same thing and we'll paste in the password text field. So I'm writing text form field and we'll rename the controller to user password controller. Validator will be same, just will rename the text and write please enter password. So it is done. Now let's move to the signing button and we'll wrap up the signing button with a gesture detector and we'll call the user login function there. So in if condition, I will write form key dot current state dot validate what we have wrote on the sign up page. The reason for using is that we will check the each test field through a validator and will check that if it is null or empty. If we found that all the text fields are filled with a text, then we will move to the set state and will pass each text field text into the specific string. So I am writing email is equals to user mail controller dot text. Now in email string what the user have wrote in the email text field that will be assigned to the email string. So user mail controller will handle the case of that text field and dot text will get that text from the specific text field and assign to the email string here. And same for the password. So it is done. Now we'll call a user login function here. But before move to the sign up page and sign in into the app, I will write a few lines of code in the user login function. So inside the so after calling the sign in with email and password function inside the user login function, we want that the user details to be saved in the shared preferences because as I told you before, we need the username, email, username again and again into the app. So if the user is login into the app, then we'll call the user details from the server and will save the each detail into the shared preference. For example, if I want to save the user name here, then I will first call the username from the server and will save the username into the share preference, then will sign in into the app. So this will be done through a dot where function where we will match a user email with the server what the user have entered in the email text field. I hope that you can understand what I am trying to say here. For beginners, it will be difficult for them to understand what I am trying to say here, but no problem. As we will write a code by your own into the studio code, then you will get what all things I have used here inside the user logging function, and I will try it to make it more easy for the beginners to understand in the basic level. So now let's move to the database.dat file and I will write a function name get user by email. So future query snapshot, get user by email, string, ID, Firebase Firestore.instance.collection.users. Now, inside the collection users, we will match the user email here, what they have entered in the email text field. So I'm using .where function to find the user email in the server. So in string, I will pass the email here and will match with the email. We'll get that user detail using .get function. Now I'll write query snapshot, await database methods dot get user by email, and we'll pass the email here. So in string, I am writing a name, username, and picture ID. The reason for adding this string is because when I call the user name and pick from the server, then I need a specific location to store that string into a specific string. So for that I need to create a string here. So whenever we call the user detail from the server, then I will use this string to save that text in this string. So to call that function, I am using a name string here equals to query snapshot dot docs. One more thing I want to tell you that whenever you are writing the field inside the inverted comma, then it should be exact what you have entered on the Firebase Firestore. It should match what the field that is there. If there will be any difference between these two texts, then it will throw the error here. So make sure whenever you are writing a text in the inverted comma, then it should be exact what the field you have entered in the Firebase Firestore. I saw that many of the developers are making a small mistake in like capital and small letter and not using the exact field what they have entered on the Firebase Firestore, and they are wasting so much time to find that problem why they are not getting the detail from the server. So this was the small tips from my side, and these tips will only get you in this channel. So don't forget to subscribe this channel. Now I will save the each user detail using a shared preference helper dot save user display name, and will pass the name string here. Now I will save the each user detail here using a shared preference helper. Now many of the users might be thinking that why are, why we are saving the user details locally as the details are already saved into the server. As we move more into the app, and when I will write the code for the home page and chat page, you will see that we will be calling a too much detail from the shared preferences, and shared preferences will help us to get the user detail in more easy way rather than calling from the server each time. So in email section, I am writing the email here. Now I'll use the same password that I have used to sign up into the app. Now click on the signing button, wait for a few seconds. So as you can see, we have successfully signed in into the app and we have moved to the home page. So it is done. Now let me perform hot restart again and move to the sign in page. The reason for I'm moving to the sign in page again is that whenever the user will write an email and they have forgot the password, then they will click on the forget password text and move to the forget password screen where they can change the password from there. So now we'll create a new file name forgetpassword.dart here and we'll write the complete UI and the code for the forgot password screen. So I will create a stateful widget name forgot password as the forgot password will be same according to the signing page. At the top we will replace the sign in text with a password recovery and log in to your account with the enter your email and we'll use a single text field to enter the email of the password they had forgot. Then we'll use a button to get the password email into their email they have entered here. Instead of writing the UI for the forgot password again, I will copy the complete code from the signing page and paste on the forgot password.dart file and will rename the few text there. Sorry, but I am using some of the shortcuts to write up forgot password screen is that if I will code a complete code of forgot password then it will take a lot of time. So I will copy the code from the signing.dart file and will paste in the forgot password screen and will make the customization according to our choice. Being a developer, I always used to do a smart work rather than a hard work. We will paste the code here and let me remove some of the key from here and I am writing text editing controller because I want a single text field where the user will enter the email. So I will remove a password text field from here. We'll also remove the forgot password text. So let me call the forgot password screen in main.dart file and I will show you what all customization I have done. So as you can see a single text field email has been shown here. Now I'll rename the signing to the password recovery. We'll also rename the text login to your account to enter your email. We'll also make the container smaller in size. Now I'll rename the signing button to send email. Let me also explain you how the password recovery will work. Basically, for an example, if the user have forgot their email, then they will click on the forgot password text and move to the password recovery screen. Now inside the email text field, they will enter the email of the password they had forgot. After clicking on the send email button, they will get a link of the Firebase into their email they have entered here. Now, after clicking to that link, they will redirect to a screen where they can assign a new password to this email. So for that, I need to add the few lines of code here. So again we'll write a string, namely email here. Now we'll create a global key again so that we can text the validator in the text field. So we'll pass a key name, form key. Now I will write a function name reset password here, and this will be called when the user will click on the send email button. So let me add the few lines of code here. So it is done. Now let's move to the send email button and we'll write a few lines of code inside the gesture detector. So in if condition we'll write the same thing what we have wrote in the sign up and signing page, and we'll again use a set state method. Now inside the set state method we'll pass a text controller to a email string. Now we'll call a reset password function here. So it is done. Now let me perform hot restart function. So for an instance, if I had forgot this email password, so I will click on the forgot password text and move to the password recovery screen, and will write the same email here, and will click on the send email button and wait for a few seconds. So as you can see, password reset email has been sent. Now let me check my email here. So as you can see, I have got a link to reset my password. So let me click to that link and I will redirect to a page where I can assign a new password. So let me write a new password here and click on save button. Now, so as you can see, now I can sign in with my new password into the app. Now let's move to the home page of the app and I will add the search feature here. But before moving to the app, I want to explain you what really the advanced search feature I am talking about. So we will add the same advanced feature we usually found in the big apps like Amazon, Uber Eats, Flipkart, etc. So let me take you to the Amazon website and I will show you what really search feature we will add. So as you can see, it is a Amazon website. Now I will move to the search bar here at the top and I will search iPhone here. So as you can see here, I have just wrote IPH word inside the search bar. Now after just typing IPH, word inside the search bar, you can see that Amazon website are suggesting all the words that start with IPH. Basically, it search on the server all the words that are starts with IPH, and it shows all the result like iPhone 14, iPhone 13, 14 Pro, etc. Now I will write iPhone 14 here. Now it shows me all the word that start with iPhone 14. So as you can see, now it is suggesting me iPhone 14 Pro, iPhone 14 Pro Max, etc. Now I will go back and I will write iPhone 12 here. So again it is suggesting me the word that start with iPhone 12 here. So as you can see, if I type any letter inside the search bar, then the search bar activate automatically and it starts us to show all the keywords that start with a letter we type here. For an example, if I write just a word SNEA, then it shows me a words like sneakers for girls, sneakers training kit, and sneaker, sneaks, etc. Now I type a complete keyword sneaker here, so it shows me all the words that start with the sneaker. So you might be thinking what this search feature will really do in our app. So like whenever the user will search for the specific username in the app, like he will search for the guy whose name is Shivans, then he will just write SHI and the app will suggest him all the keywords that start with SHI. So might be that there will be a two user whose name will be Shivans and Shivam, whose both username word start with SHI, and this will be helpful for the user to search the user quickly and have the real-time chat with that specific user. So now let's execute this function in our app. Let me explain you how I will add this feature to the home page. So when the user will click on the search icon, then the chat up text will be replaced with the text field here, and then the user can search for the specific username and can have the real-time chat with that user. So I am writing a boolean here and naming the search to false. The reason for doing that, so when the user will click on the search icon, then we will make the search to true, and using a set state we will rerun the app again. So I am using a gesture detector and writing both the cases inside the onType function. So now once the search becomes true, then we'll write a function. If search is true, then we will show a text field. If search is false, then we will show chat up text here. Now we will wrap up the text field with the expanded widget because I want that text field to cover the complete width of the screen. Now decoration, input decoration, border, input border dot none. Now I will write a hint text here. Now inside a hint text I will write search user. We will give some styling to the hint text. So I am using a hint style here. So it is done. Now I'll perform a hot reload function. But before that, I am also giving a style widget is because I want that whenever the user will write on the text field, then they can see the word clearly. So I'm writing colors, colors.black. font size 18.0, font weight W500. Now we will also change the height whenever the search is true. The reason for doing that is because whenever we will click on the search icon, then the text field will appear here. Basically, text field covers some of the space from top and bottom. Now, if we will don't use a updated height here, then it will throw overflow error here. So I am using updated height here whenever the search is true. Now let's perform the hot restart function, and now I will click on the search icon. So as you can see, the text field has been appeared here from where the user can search the specific username and can have the real-time chat with him. Now I will create a list name query result set, and I will make one more list name temp search store here. The reason for making this two list is because I want that whenever the user will search for the specific username, so when the user will search for the specific username, for example, if they are if there are two username like Shivans and Shivam, so if I will write SHI here, then the result will show that there are two username present whose username starts with SHI. Basically, a two username would be Shivans and Shivam. So these two username will get stored on this list and will provide the list later, and the app will allow us to click on one of the user and move to the chat page. Hope it's clear the point why I am using a to list here. Initiate search function where I will use this to list here. You will get the clear cut clarity of why I have used a to list here. So in initiate search, I have wrote a value here. Basically in value, we will pass the username here. So in if condition, I'm writing value dot length equals to 0, and then using a set state method, I will make this to list null. Now I'm using a set state again. The reason for using a set state again is that I am making the search to true. So whenever the user will start to type on this text field, then this all the chats will be replaced with the username that we are searching on the text field. So basically capitalized value will get the first character of the user and will make that first character of the user to in capital letter. Many users might be thinking why we are taking a first character from a username we are typing on the text field. So let me explain you how this search function will work. So for an example, if there are two username like Shivam, and first username is Shivam and second username is Harsh. So for the first username, his key will be a first character named S, and for the second character, his key will be H. So like whenever we will type the first username like S, then the app will show all the username whose key matches with the first character name S, and that username will be shown in the app. But we haven't uploaded the key here, so let me move to the sign up page and upload the value of the key to Firebase Firestore. So I am writing string user here and will write mail controller dot text replace all. Basically I am getting the username of the specific user in the user string. In update username, as you can see, we are updating the username first character to the uppercase. So we'll pass the update username and upload this username to Firebase Firestore, where the first character of the username should be capital. Now we are writing us one more string name first letter. So we will try to get the first letter of our username in the uppercase. That will be a search key for us to get the username in the app. I know that it might be very confusing for the beginners to understand the each line of code here, but if you are having any questions or any problem, you can comment it out on this video and I will try to read all the comments and I will try my best to explain you in more easy way. As this my YouTube channel name Shivam Gupta, main purpose is that for the beginners to understand the code and they can move to the advanced level step by step. Each time my best is to provide the code in most easy way for the users to understand what I am typing here, and I'm trying my best to explain in most easiest way so that it will be easy for all the users to understand what really we are developing here. So now let's move to the database.dart file and I will write a function name search here. So future query snapshot search string username Firebase Firestore.instance dot collection users dot where. So let me explain you what string username does here. So like when the user will type a username on the text field, then the app will take the first character of that string that we have typed on the text field and pass to the string username here. So for an example, as you can see here, our first username is Shivam123. So in username, it will pass the first character name as share and will check all the users whose search key matches with the first character. So if it matches, then it will return all the username in the app. So it is done now. Now let's move to the home.dart file and we will call the function here. So I'm writing database methods dot search and we'll pass the value here. After passing the value, we will take all the users username whose value start with the, for an example, s here. So as you can see, we will add the all the user name in the list we have provided here. Now in the text field, I will write on change property here. Basically, on change property is something like whenever the user will write any of the character and starts writing in this text field, then on change function will call here and will pass the value to initiate search function here. So now we want that whenever the user will start typing on the text field, then the on change property will get activate and it will move the text to initiate search function, which will make the search to true. And if the search will be true, then all the last text that are on the home page will replace with the username we are looking here. So now let me add the column here and we will try to put all the chats that we see on the home page in the column widget. The reason is because now if we will use a search case here, like if search is true, then we will pass a list view of all the username that we have stored on the list that we have wrote above. Now I am providing some padding here. Now I am writing a children here and will on children will pass the temp search store where all the list of the username are stored. So with the map method we will call the each element here and will perform a we will show a list here, so we'll change that to a toList function. Now we will return the each user detail to a widget name build result card, where we will show the user pick his name and his username, so it will be easy for the user who is searching a specific username can find the right person here and can have the real time chat with him. So now let's move and create the widget here. Name build result card. So now I'm writing container here and giving some margin here. Now after giving the margin, I'm using a child material and will highlight the each user detail here. So I'm using a material widget here and giving some border radius. Now we will write a container again and will provide a padding to the container. We'll provide some decoration to the container here. So I'm writing colors.white. We'll provide a border radius. So border radius dot circular 10. Now child, row, children. Now inside the row, I will write a column widget and we will give a user display name here, and after that we will provide a username. So as you can see, I have provide some style to the username here. So let me rename the username and we will pass a specific user display name as you can see on the Firebase. So I'm writing name here, and on below of that I will write a username. So let me provide some style to this text widget where we are passing the username. I have made a small mistake. Basically, I want to provide the username in the uppercase. So let me move to the sign up page and we will write update username dot to uppercase. So it is done now. So perform the hot restart function and let me write the username here inside the text field. So as you can see, I have wrote the username SHI. So it will go to the Firebase Firestore and it will search all the username whose value starts with a word SHI and it display here. Now I will go back and as you can see basically it will update me in a few seconds. So as you can see now I have wrote sh, so it takes a few seconds to update the app and it will show all the username whose username starts with sh. So there are three username whose username start with sh. Now I write SHI, now to username. So now if I write Shivam, a complete username, so as you can see, it may show the username who start with a word Shivam here. So I had taught you a advanced technique of the search feature. There are the many videos on the YouTube where they teach you search feature. I have saw some of them, but in that search feature you have to write a complete username like Shivam123. Now if you click on the search button then it will show that specific username. Now this search feature which I taught you today is a advanced search feature which you found in many of the apps, e-commerce app, ticket booking app, travel app, etc. Though I have thought that this is a advanced search feature which I need to tell to my subscriber who are developing the apps and they will use the advanced feature in their app to make it more easy for the users to use the app. So if you like my idea, do not forget to subscribe my channel because this is just the starting. I am going to bring such more videos in the future. So now I will also add the user pick here. So it will be easy for the user who are searching the specific username can find the users quickly. I am using image.network because I am getting the user pick from the Firebase Firestore. So on data, I will write a photo here and will wrap up the image with a clip react widget and will provide some border radius, will provide some height and width to the image and will fit them with the fit box fit.cover. So if you are following this series from the starting, then many users will get why I have used clip react fitboxfit.cover here. Now we will also highlight the username in the different way. So I am changing the style of the username here. So it is done now. Let me perform the hot restart again and I will show you it again. So I am writing sh here. Now it is showing me all the users whose username start with sh. Now I will write a complete username. Now Shivam. So like if the user now don't want to search the username and he clears all the text from the text field, then as you can see he can't move back to the home page where he can see all the chats. So now I will replace the search icon with a close icon here. So the user will get the hint that when we will click on the close icon, then we can move back to the home page of the app. So I'm writing if search is true, then we will show a close icon here and will wrap up the close icon with a gesture detector and will make the search to false and will provide a set state. Now let me perform hot restart. So when I click on the search icon, now I will write a username here. Now if I want to go back to the home screen, then I will click on the close icon and move to the home page. So it is done now. So as you can see here, I have wrote sh string inside the text field where I am looking for the username whose username start with sh. Now after writing the sh string, you can see the app display us the three username here. I want that when I click to Shivans, the first user that shows here, then I can have the real time chat with the Shivans here. So for that, I need to move to the chat page after clicking the Shivans username here. So what I have thought to how to execute that, let me explain you. So, for an example, if my username is Ayush and if I click to a Shivan's username, then the app will create a chat room whose username will be Ayush and Shivan's in the Firebase Firestore. Now, if I click to Shyam, the second user, then the app will create a second chat room where the where the chat room name will be Ayush and Shyam. So like this, app will create a separate chat rooms for each user we want to have the real time chat with him. The reason for doing that is because now if I'm chatting with Shivans, then the message should only goes to the Shivans, not any of the user that we are not having the chat. So creating a separate chat room for each user allows us to message them privately and have the real time chat with him. So when I goes to the home page of the app, you can see all the previous users chat there. So each user chat will have a separate chat rooms. Hope that I have clear your doubt of how we will execute the real time chat for the each users separately and privately so that they can have a real time chat with the each user. So let me execute what I have explained you here. So now we will move to the container and wrap up the widget with a gesture detector. Now I will do a search equals to false and will provide a set state. The reason for using a search equals to false is that whenever I press any of the user, for an example Shivansh here, then I will move to the chat page where I can have a chat with Shivans. Now, if I want to go back to the home page, now if I press on the back arrow key at the top, then I can successfully move to the home page rather than moving to the search page here. So, as I explained you that there will be a separate chat room for each users, then I will create now a chat room ID for each users now with their username. So I will create now chatroom ID by username function to create a unique chatroom name for each user here. In string A and B, I will pass two username who want to have a chat and wants to move to the chat page and can start a chat with the specific user. You might be thinking that what all things I have wrote inside a get chatroom ID by username function. But do not need to worry. What all things I have wrote here, I will show you complete things that will upload to the Firebase Firestore with an example. So that will give a clear cut idea of what all things I have wrote here. In short terms, I can explain you that basically get chatroom ID by username functions create a unique chat rooms for each specific user we want to have a chat. There is also one reason that why we are creating a unique chat room ID for each chat rooms here, because now if I am talking with Shivans and goes back to the home page and I move to the another user named Shyam here, then I am chatting with this both users at the time. Now, if I don't create a unique chat room for each user, then this might be a case that whenever you click on the Shivans, then you will move to the Shyam chat page. But if you create a unique chat room ID for each chat rooms, then app will get a hint that whenever you click on the Shivans chat, then it will search for the specific user chatroom ID and will send to a specific username whose name is Shivans. So as I said you that I will pass two username. One username will be of mine and second will be of the username that we want to have a chat. Now to get my username, here comes a role of the shared preference. This is why I have stored the username locally in the shared preference. So now I will show you how to call the username, name, pick, etc. from the shared preference here. So now I'll create a string name, my profile pic, my username, and my email. Now I will create a function name get the shared pref. Now I will write a string my name, and will get the my display name here. So we'll write await shared preference helper. We use .save method to save the name to the shared preference. But we have created one more function named .get. So we will use our .get function to get the display name here, and we'll save the display name to a string name my name. Now we'll do a same case for my profile pic, username and email. Now I will use a setState method inside the get shared preference. Now I will create a on the load function here. The reason is doing that is because I want that whenever we come to the home page of the app, then the app first call the get share preference method and give me all the my detail to the specific string here. This can be done by using a function name initState here. Basically, initState is something that will be called as soon as you open home page here. So this is a first function which will be called first, then the whole process will be executed on the app. So as I told, I will get the share preference here. So I am writing on the load method inside the init state here. Now I will pass my username here, and the username we want to have a chat. So I am using a Shivan's. For an example, Shivan's username here. So I will get the username from the Firebase Firestore. Now I will create a map here, and map name will be Chatroom info map. The reason for creating the map here, because in the specific chat room I want the two users to have the chat whose username will be matched here. So one user will be me myself. So I'm providing my username here, and a other username we want to have a chat. Now let's move to the database.dart file, and we'll create a function named create chat room, which will help us to create a specific chat room with the unique chat room ID. So as you can see, in string we will pass a unique chat room ID, and inside the map we will pass the two usernames that will go into the chat room and can have the private and real-time chat. I am using a snapshot here because I want to check if the chat room has created or not. For an example, if I am if I want to have a chat for the first time with the user, then I will create a chat room in the Firebase Firestore. But if I second time comes to the app again and I want to have the chat with that same user, then I again go to the text field and search for the that username again. And if I click it again to his username, I don't want to create another chat room for the same username we have the chat at the past. We want to move to the same chat room. If I will create a separate chat room again and again whenever the user is searching for the same username, then might be the case, then the last chat we have with the specific user will be removed from there, and that will give a very bad experience for the users having a conversation in the chat app. So this case you have found in many of the apps like Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, etc. So we are using a same procedure of what this app does. So with the if method, if it will check if the data is exist. If the data is exist means if the chat room is exist, then we'll return true and we will not create a chat room here. Now in else case, if the chat room is not there, then I will create a collection named chatrooms here, and inside the collection we will give a chatroom id and upload the username, and we'll create a separate chat room for each user here. Now we'll call a database method and we'll create a chat room here. I hope that I am giving my best to explain you each line why I am writing here, because I am looking for the beginners who are first time developing the app and can have the complete knowledge of why I am writing the code here. If you simply copy and paste the code from the GitHub or any of the source where I upload the source code, then beginners might face the problem in futures and they will not get why these functions are called here. So if you are liking my video and way of the explanation, you can support me by subscribing my channel to get more videos we have in a store. Now, after creating the chat room, we want that user to move to the chat page and can start a real-time chat with that user. But before that, I will move to the chat page and I will pass a name of that user, profile pic, and his username here. The reason for doing that is because we can get the hint of to whom we are having a chat on the chat page here. Now let's move the home.dart page again, and we will go to the same gesture director and will move to the user to a chat page. So I will use a navigator dot push here and material page root, and we'll call a chat page here. And in name we will pass that user name here. So I'm writing name. Let me check on the Firebase. Okay, it is capital N, so I'm replacing it with capital N. Now profile URL and same for the username. So it is done. Now let me perform hot restart now and will search the user again. So I'm writing sh here. Now I will press on the Sivan's username here. Now as you can see, we have successfully moved to the chat page here. Now let me check to the Firebase Firestore whether he had created a chat room with a specific chat room ID there. Now refresh the page. So as you can see, the collection name Chatrooms has appeared. Now after clicking to the chat room, you can see that there is a specific ID which I am talking about. Basically, this is a Shivan's username and my username is also seen here. And here are the two users username who can have a chat on this specific chat room. So now let's move to the home page of the app. Now I will search a Shivan's username using a search text field here. So I will write Shivan's here. Now I will click on the Shivan's username and will move to the chat room where me and Shivan's can have the real-time chat. Now I will move to the text field at the bottom where I can send the chat or message directly to the Shivans. So I am writing a text inside the text field and I want that when I click on the send button, then this text I have wrote inside the text field should move to the Shivans and this message will be seen inside the chat room. So to handle the text inside the text field, I will need a text editing controller here. So I will move to the chat page .dart file here and will write text editing controller message controller equals to new text editing controller. So now let's move to the text field and I will write controller message controller. So now I will write a function name add message here that will be called whenever I click on the send icon here. Inside the add message, I have mentioned bool send clicked. Now, if the user click on this send icon here, then we'll make the send clicked to true and we can use a function inside the add message according to that. So I am writing if message controller dot text is not equals to null, then we will store a text inside the text field in the message string using message controller dot text. Now after storing the message, I will make message controller dot text equals to space. The reason for doing that is because I want that whenever the user sends the first text here, for an example hello, if we write hello and he clicks on the send icon here, then message controller dot text will be null and it will allow the user to send the second message to the user he has having a chat. Now I will use a map string dynamic message info map. Now inside the map I will write a message and will pass a text where we have stored our text that user have wrote on this text field. So writing a message string here. Now I will write send by and in send by I will pass my username here. So again I will use a shared preference method to get my username what we have done on the home.dart file. So I am writing a string here my username and will try to get all the details about me in those strings through a shared preference method. So now I will use a get the shared PRA function to get my username here and we will write my username equals to await and will use a shared preference helper class and will get the username by get username function here. Now I will get my all details one by one using a get user function here. So we will do same for the pic, display name and the email. And we will use a set state here so that whenever we call a get shared preference method and we can store all the details on each string here and using a set state method we can rerun the app again. Now we will again use a on the load function that we have used same on the home.dart page and we'll call a shared preference method here and we'll use a set state method again. So inside init state I will on the load function. The reason for writing the on the load function inside the init state is because as I want that the get the shared preference method will be called as soon as the user will move to the chat page. So init state is that type of function which calls first and then the whole function starts after the init state function has called. Now in send by I will write my username here. I'm writing TS here. Basically TS stands for timestamp here. As you can see on the home page, you can see all the previous chat of the users with a last chat they have received on the chat room with the time. So to store the time, I need a timestamp here. So I'm writing a timestamp using a date time now function. Basically date time function help us to get the exact time when the user have sent the message to the specific user inside the chat room. So I will write date time now and date time dot now function to get the current time. Now I want that to show the time in hour and minute format. So I need to write a string name formatted date here and will pass a date in the way we want. So I'm writing date format here and will pass a formatted date how we want in our formatted date string. But to get a formatted date here, I need to move to the perf.def file and copy the intl package from there and paste it inside the perspec.ml file. Basically, INTL is that type of package which help us to format a date according to our choice. Like it helps us to write the date in terms of year, minutes, seconds, milliseconds, etc. So now inside the date format, I want in hour and minute form. So inside the inverted commas, I will write hour colon and in minute format. This will help us to get the format in hour and minute form. So now I'll copy that string inside the ts. Now I am writing the time again. Basically this time will help us to arrange the text according to our choice. For example, as you have seen on the server that whenever we are sending a text here inside the chat room, then all the text are mixing together. But we don't want them in the random order. Now we want that the new text should be appear first, then the text we have texted before. So we will do that by using a server timestamp here so that we can manage the server time according to our choice. Don't need to worry if you are getting confused why I am using a time here. As we move on with the app, you will get why I have wrote time here inside the map. In short, I can tell you that writing time is very important inside the map function to display our message in some sequence so that user can know what chat they have received rather than getting the all the chats in the random form. Now inside the image URL I will pass my profile pic here. So let me explain you how this map will work. Basically inside the chat room, as you can see, there is a chat room ID. When we will send this map, then it will create one collection named chats here, and inside the chats collection all the message will be stored. So I am writing if here. Now inside the if function I need to call a message ID here because I want to provide a specific message ID to the each message user is sending to the other user. So inside if I'm writing if message ID is equals to null or space, then I will pass a message ID with a random alphanumeric character here, and basically inside the collection chats first message ID will be appear, and inside that message ID there will be a message we will send to the other user. Now I will create a database.dart function here so that I can send the message to the Firebase Firestore. So let's move to the database.dart file, and I will create a function name add message here that will be called whenever we send the message to the user inside the chat room. So in string, I will pass a specific chat room ID that I have showed you in Firebase Firestore. Now I will also pass a specific message ID and will write a map string dynamic. Inside the string dynamic, I will pass a message info map. Firebase Firestore dot instance dot collection. Now inside the collection, I will write a chatrooms here. Basically, this is what I'm talking about. Now in doc, we'll pass a chatroom ID. This chatroom ID dot will make one more collection here named chats. Inside the chat, I will pass a specific message ID. So I'm writing doc message ID, and we'll use a set method to set the message inside the chats collection here. Now let's move to the chat page again. So now database methods dot add message, and inside the chatroom ID I will pass a chatroom ID here. So the chatroom ID will be same what we have wrote on the home.dart file, but before that I am writing a string name chatroom ID here, and we will move to the home.dart page and will copy the same get chatroom ID by username function from here and paste it inside the chat page, which will help us to get the chatroom ID. So now inside the chatroom ID string, I will store my chatroom ID widget.username. Basically, widget.username is the username we are having a chat, and here I will pass my username. So I will write chatroom ID. Now message ID, and same for the message info map. Basically, we have stored message ID string inside the null string. So we will remove the space here and will write if message ID is equals to null, then we will pass a random alphanumeric 10. So after passing the add message function, I want to update the last message sent by the user. So I will use a dot then method here so that it will be called once the add message function is done. So I will write again a map string dynamic and will write a last message info map. So let me explain you why I have wrote last message info map here. The reason for writing is because as you saw on the home page of the app, there is a username, and just below that there is the last message which has been sent by the user or received by the user. So to show the last message there on the home page, we need to keep updating the last message that has been sent inside this chat room. So to do that, I will pass last message inside the chat rooms. So inside the last message, I will copy the same message string here and will write a last message sent timestamp where we will pass a time when was the last message has been sent. So now as we need to upload the last message inside the chat room, so I will write a function name update last message sent. Inside that string, I will pass a specific chat room ID and will pass a map string dynamic last message info map. Firebase Firestore dot instance dot collection chat rooms dot doc will pass a specific chat room ID and will use a dot update method here. The reason for using dot update method is because I want that whenever the user send the message or receive the message inside the specific chat room, then the last message keep on updating whenever both the users send the message to the specific chat room. That will help us to get the last message sent by any of the two users inside the specific chat room. So, if you want to know more about dot update, dot delete, dot set, this type of function, then you can find the one of our video link in the description box. Basically, I have made that video on Firebase CRUD that will tell you in more detail of how to create, read and update and delete the data inside the Firebase Firestore. So you can have the look on that video too, so that you can get the clear cut clarity of what all things and functions we are writing inside the database .dart file. You will find that link in the description box. So it is done. Now let's move to the chat page again and we will call this function. So I am writing database methods update the last message that has been sent by the user. So database method dot update last message sent and will pass a specific chat room ID. So I will write a if function here and will call a send clicked what I have told. So if send clicked is true, then we'll make a message ID to space. This is because I am doing that. I want that unique message ID whenever the user is sending the message to the specific user inside this chat room, because this will help us to manage the each message inside this chat room. Now we'll wrap up the container with a gesture detector. So now I will perform the hot restart again and will write a username and will move to the chat page. So inside this chat room, I am writing a first text here, hello, what are you doing? And will send this text. For now, you can't see the text inside the chat page, but because we have didn't call the function to get the chat message inside the chat page, but message has been sent to the Firebase Firestore. So let's move to the Firebase Firestore. So after refreshing the page, as you can see, here is the last message what I am talking about. So in last message sent by, you can see my username and the time when I have sent the last message, and you can see the chats collection here, and this is a unique message ID I am talking about. Inside this message ID there is a specific chat we have sent to the other user. So I made a small mistake here. As I told you, message ID has been stored inside the string where it is null. So if send is clicked, then will pass message ID null, then the space here, because again the app will check if the message ID is null, then he will provide a random message ID here. Will perform hot reload. Now I'm writing again. How are you doing, brother? Now we'll click on the send icon, and as you can see, last message has been updated here with how are you doing, brother? And you can see that the we have added the message ID inside the chats collection, and you can see the message here. So we'll again send a second message, such a good day to have, and the same thing happens in the Firebase Firestore. So we are sending the message inside the chat room successfully. So our step 1 is done. Now we will call each message inside the chat room and we will display that inside the chat page here. So to get the message, I will create a widget named chat message, and inside the chat message I will return stream builder. Let me explain you why I have used a stream builder here. Basically, stream builder is something which help us to get the data from Firebase Firestore. Is something like whenever we make any changes to the Firebase Firestore, like we will add a message here inside the chat page, but we want a quick update of that message has been sent and inside sent to the Firebase Firestore, and that message will be shown in the app in few seconds. So to show the message in the few seconds from Firebase Firestore, we will use a stream builder here. It shows us a quick update in few seconds whenever we make any changes or add any new things in Firebase Firestore. So as a developer, I will recommend you to always use a stream builder whenever you want to show any collections or field from Firebase Firestore. So we'll pass a stream here, and let me create a stream. So I will create a stream name message stream here, and will pass a stream to the stream builder, and will return using snapshot dot hash data. So we'll first check that if the data is available on this specific collection we have passed in this stream. If there is our data, then we'll use a list view builder to show all the chats from the Firebase Firestore. So I will keep some padding here. Now I will write item count. This will help us to count all the docs or document that we have passed inside the chats collection. Now I am doing reverse to true. The reason for doing reverse is true is because if I do reverse to true, then it will show us the message from the bottom. So like whenever I type any text inside the text field and will click on the send icon, then the last message will be shown first, then the previous message at the top. Now if I don't do it to true, then the message we have sent first will go to the top and the last message will show at the bottom, which will not give a right way to handle the chat app when the user is texting the other user inside the specific chat room. These are the common function you can see in the most of the apps like WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, etc. So we are trying to get all these features what this big app does inside their app for the better experience for the user who is chatting in our app. So for this idea, you can hit the like button. So this will help us to get more support to us to create a more functions like that. Now document snapshot ds snapshot.data.docs. Basically this function will help us to get a data from the specific document here. Now I will create a widget name chat message tile here and will write string message and bool sent by me. In string message, we will pass the message that the user write on this text field, and by bool sent by me function we will check that if the message has been sent by me or not. Basically, chat message style is all the chat message that you can see currently on this chat page. So we'll return with a row main axis alignment, and we will check the if the message has been sent by me or not. If the message is sent by me, then we will move to the row at the end, I mean at the right side of the screen, and if it is not, then we'll move to the left side of the screen. So this will help the user to get to know what message has been sent by him and what message he has get from the other user he has having a chat. And I will pass a container and will wrap up the container with a flexible widget here. Basically, flexible widget is something that makes our container flexible. Basically, when there is text inside the specific container, as you can see on the chat page, might be that the some text would be of just 2 word or 5 word or 6 word. So it will make the our container flexible and will provide the width of the container according to his choice. Basically, flexible is something which makes your app very responsive and give a better experience to the user. So I am providing a margin from horizontal and vertical. Will provide decoration, box decoration, border radius, dot only, top left, and will provide a radius to the container, and bottom right. And here I am using a sent by me here is because, as you can see, if the message is sent by me, I mean the message who are in the right position, there we don't need any circular container from the bottom right position. But if the message is sent by the other user, then we need the circular from the bottom right position. So I am writing a send by me and will provide a radius 0. That means that we don't need any circular radius when the message has been sent by me. In both the cases, top right is circular, so I am providing it to 24. Now, bottom left. So, if the message is sent by me, then we'll make it to circular, and if not, then we will not make the radius to circular and will provide the value 0. Now I will provide the color to this container. So as you can see, if the message is sent by me, then there is a different color, and if the message is sent by the other user, then it is a different color. So I will use a send by me function inside the color here, and will pass the two color using a send by me boolean character. Now I will provide a text inside the container so that we can show all our text. So I will copy the same text that we have wrote in the UI and will paste it here. I will remove this message and will write a message string here so that I can get all the message from the Firebase. So we'll pass the message here that we have wrote inside the chat collection, and if my username matches with the sent by me that we have wrote inside the Firebase, then it will true, and if not, then it will pass false. And if the snapshot doesn't has the data, then we'll show a circular progress indicator in the center. Now it is done. Let me call the function inside the scaffold widget we have wrote. But before that, I will call a get and set message function here is because I have to pass a database method function inside our message stream here so that he can get the data from Firebase Firestore. So let's move the database.dart file and we'll create a function name get chatroom message. So I am writing future stream query snapshot to get the all the chat and will pass a chatroom ID inside the get chatroom messages. So Firebase Firestore dot instance dot collection chatrooms and will pass a specific chatroom ID inside the doc file. Now we'll pass a collection name chats here so that we can get all the chat, and we will use dot order by method. So now here comes why I have used a time inside the map. Basically, time is something that will help us to get the message in the sequence manner rather than in the random order. I don't want to show all the message in the random order in our chat page. I want each message to show in the sequence form according to the time when they have sent to the server. Hope that it's clear your point why I have used a time here, and will make a descending to true because I want to show the message which has been sent first rather than the message which has been sent late. So now let's move to the chat page again and we'll pass that get room message function inside our message stream. So database method dot get chatroom message and we'll pass a chatroom ID here and we'll write a set state inside this function, and we want to call this function after the shared preference inside the init state. So I'm writing this function in the on the load method. So it is done. Now let's move to the scaffold widget and let me call the chat messages here. But before that, I need to change some of the things in the UI so that I can show all the chat message inside the scaffold widget. So I will remove all the chats from the chat page that we have wrote just for the UI, because now our Firebase Firestore is ready. So I will get the message directly from the Firebase. So now I will replace a column widget with a stack widget, because first I want to show a chat message, then I want to show the top app bar and bottom text field. So now inside the stack, I will pass a chat message here. Now I'll wrap up the icon with the gesture detector. So when the user will click on the back arrow, then we will move the user to the home page using a push replacement method here. And we'll remove the text from here, and we'll provide a widget.name, because we want to pass the name of that user we are having a chat. So now I'll wrap up the text field with a container here. The reason for wrapping up the container is because when I'm using a stack here, so if I don't move the container in the bottom, then the text field will be shows in the center. So using a container, I will tell the text field to move at the bottom center. Now, as we are using expanded widget here, so the text field will cover the complete width and height of the screen. So we don't want that, so I will remove the expanded widget. These all things I have wrote just for the UI, so that to get the hint to all the users how we are going to display the text field. So inside the text field, I will write a suffix icon here. Basically, suffix icon is something which shows the icon inside the text field on the right side of the text field. Icons dot send rounded here. Will provide some margin to the text field. So margin h inset dot left 20.0, right 20.0, and from the bottom we will wrap up the chat message with a container here, and we will provide some width and height and color to the chat message as I have shown you in the UI. All things will be like that. I'm not doing any changes in the UI, just I am replacing all the functions that we are getting from the Firebase Firestore. So it is done. Now let's perform hot restart, and we'll click to the, we'll search the username here, Shivansh here, and we'll click to the his username. As you can see, we have moved to the chat room here, and inside the chat room you can see all the text that we have stored in Firebase Firestore. The app calls all the messages from the Firebase Firestore and shows us inside the app. We will remove the margin here and will provide the margin at the top. So let me perform hot restart again and we'll move to the Shivan's chat as it looks now better. Now we'll provide more margin from the bottom and I will write a text, hey guys, what's up, and we'll click to the send icon. Sorry, I'd forgot to wrap up the gesture detector with the icon widget here. So I'm wrapping up the gesture detector with the icons widget here. I will pass a add message function and will write true. We'll perform hot reload again, and when I click to the send icon here, as you can see the message has been appeared. So now let's move to the Firebase Firestore and check that message has been come on the chat section or not. So as you can see the last message has been updated successfully. So it is done. The message has been successfully sent to the other user and we can see all the message inside our chat page. So our chat page work is done. Now let's move to the homepage.dart file again and we want to show all the last chat or previous chat inside our home page. So now let's call all the chat rooms where from the Firebase Firestore where I have the chat with the specific user. So I will create a widget name chat room list here to get all the chat rooms inside our home page. So I will again use a stream builder here and we'll use a snapshot to get all the data from Firebase Firestore and will check the data if the data is present in Firebase or not. So I'll create a stream here and will write a chat rooms stream and we'll pass this stream in our stream builder. So we'll again check the if snapshot.has data, but let me write a stream chat room stream. We'll pass a list view and we'll get the each document detail here. So document ds snapshot.data.docs so that we can get the data from each doc here and we can store the length in our document ds file. Basically we will provide padding to 0 because we don't need any space from the top and we'll use item count to get all the document length here. So in return I need to pass chat room list user tile here. Basically each user detail. So I will create a stateful widget name chat room list tile here and we'll get a user data and we'll show that in the home page. So I'm writing a string name profile pic URL name. As you can see on the home page, there is a user pic with the user display name. At the down, there is a last message that has been sent to this chat room and with a time at the right. So we'll try to get all the details by passing the specific chat room ID here. So we'll use a get this user info function here. So inside the get this user info function, I will try to get the username using a chatroom ID. So to get the chatroom ID inside the chatroom list tile, I will create a string here. So I'm getting the string from the chat room we have wrote above. So I will write a chatroom list style and will try to get last message, chatroom ID, my username and the time. Basically time is something when the user have the last chat and the time we want to show on the home page. So now I will get the username from the chatroom ID here. Basically, this is a what chatroom ID I'm talking about and will get the specific username from this chatroom. For example, it will remove the space and hyphen and will replace the my username with the space and will provide the username like Shivans 456. So it is providing the username whose username we don't know from the other side. And with this username, we will go to the users collection and we'll get the all details from the users collection. Let me show how I will do that. So now let's move to the database.dart file and I'm creating the file name get this user info from the users collection that I have shown you in Firebase. So I am creating a future query snapshot get user by username. So we'll get the user detail from the username and we'll write Firebase Firestore dot instance dot collection users will remove the ID and will pass a username. So in string, I'm passing the username here and by dot where method, we will check that if the user is present on the user's collection or not. So if the username matches with the any of the user data inside the user's collection, then we'll get all the details using a dot get method here. So now I will save the use each user detail inside the string we have wrote. So for that, I have to write a query snapshot equals to await, and we'll pass a database method here to get all the data of the specific user. Now we'll store each detail of the user in the string: name, his photo, his username, and his document ID using a query snapshot method. So it is done. Now inside the init state, I will pass the get this user info to get all the details first, then move to the container. So now I will copy the same photo, same row that we have made for the UI, and will paste it inside the chatroom list tile so that we can get all the user details, and we can show that in the form of the list view. Now if profile pic is null, I'm writing this function because, for an instance, if we didn't get the profile pic of the user from the users collection, then it may take some time to load. So we will show that a progress indicator suggesting that the user pic has been loading, and we'll show that using the image.network here, and we'll pass a username inside the text. We'll show the last message and the time when they have sent the last message. Let's move to the chatroom message again, and we'll call a chatroom list tile from there, and we'll show all the chat rooms where the user have the chat with the specific user. So chatroom list tile will pass a chatroom ID here, and the last message we will get from the Firebase, and will pass my username, and in time we will pass the last message when the user have sent on this chat room, and will pass a ds.id to get the specific id of that chat room. So now I need to get the details of all the chat rooms from the Firebase, so I will store that inside the chat room stream we have made. But before that, I need to create a function inside the database.dart file. So let's move to the database.dart, and we'll create a function name get chatrooms, and we'll create a future stream query snapshot. We'll create a string my username and will try to get the my username from the shared preference helper. So Firebase Firestore.instance.collection chatrooms and will order all the chat room in the server time. So I'm using a time descending to true. Basically, I am using a time again here and descending to true because I want to show the user I have the chat last should be present at the top in the home page, and the user I have chat second that should be in the second position of the home page. So basically, as you can see on the screen, Shivam Gupta is the first user that we have the last chat first, then the Ayush Sharma is the second user, we have the last chat at the second. This function you see on the bigger apps like WhatsApp Messenger, what I'm talking about. We are trying to add all the feature that this app does to make our app more functional and easy for the user to use. So if you like my idea, do like and subscribe my channel for more videos we have in the store. So by array content, this means in the users array, we will check my username is present or not. If the username is present, then we'll pass that specific chat room here. And if the username is not present in that specific chat room, then we'll don't show that chat room inside our home page. So inside the chat room stream, I will pass a database methods again, get chat rooms. So it is done. Now I'll remove the column from here that we have made just for the UI and will try to call the real data from the Firebase. So I will write chat room list here to get all the chat rooms where I have the chat. So after hot restart, as you can see, our home page is keep on loading. We can see a circular progress indicator here. So we'll rerun the app again using Flutter run command. Rerunning the app, you will find a link inside the terminal as you can see here. So just click to the link. This link will direct you to the Firebase and there he will tell you to create some composite index for our app. Basically, composite index will help us to manage the users array time together. It is very necessary to run our home page because we are managing the arrays and time at the same time from the home page. So if you are using a composite index here, then we need to add this index here. So in status, as you can see, it is building. So wait for a few seconds until it gets enabled. So it is enabled, as you can see here. Now let's move to the code again, as I have done some mistake here. So I will remove the mistakes that I have done. So let's move to the signup.dart page again, and we need to save the username in uppercase in shared preference. So just use dot to uppercase function inside the share preference. And so now move to the main.dart page, and we'll call a sign up here, and we'll create a new ID again. So I'm writing a Flutter run command to rerun our app, and we'll make a new ID here so that our shared preference will be saved with the uppercase username. So as you can see, our app has launched successfully. Now in sign up page, I will create a new ID here. So in name, I will write Abhay Sharma here, and will give the email, password, and confirm password. We'll click on the sign up button, wait for a few seconds. So as you can see, we have registered successfully. Now I will search the username here. So I am writing SHI, and will move to the Shivam Gupta chat page, and will send the message to Shivam. So I am writing hello here, and will send the message. As you can see, the message has been sent successfully. Now move to the home page again. Now as you can see, we can see the all our chats in our home page. Now we don't need to search again and again. We just need to come to the home page, and we will find all the previous chat in our home page. Now I will search one more username. I will write Shivansh here, and move to the chat room, and will send the message again to him. So I'm writing hello, how are you doing? We'll click on send button. So as you can see, message has been sent successfully. Now let's move to the home page again, and now you can see the two users we have the chat are shown in the home page with the timestamp. Now there would be a case when we will type a long message here, then there will be a overflow error here. Let me show you how it will be resolved. So for an example, I am sending a long chat to a Shivam here. So I am writing hello, such a good day brother. How was your? As I send the message to the Shivam, we'll go to the back to the home page, and as you can see, here is some overflow error. Now we need to fix this error here, because it will give a bad experience to the user whenever someone send the long text or receive the long text in the chat room. So we'll go to the home page again, and we'll wrap up the last message with the container, and we'll give a fixed width to the container, how much space he can cover, and we'll provide a overflow text overflow dot ellipsis in the text, because this function will allow the text to cover the specific space in the container. After that, it shows the message in the dotted form. If you close this app, and if you again open the app from the home screen of your device, then you want to come directly on the home page and click on any of the previous chat, and want to start the chat with the specific user, rather than signing up again and again and moving to the home page and searching the user and start the chat. Basically, you have seen that function in many of the bigger apps like WhatsApp, Messenger, Facebook, etc., where one time you need to sign up in the app, and an app allows you to direct give a entry inside the app whenever you close the app. We will do a same thing inside our app. So let me show how I'll do that. So when I run the flutter run command, as you can see, we move to the sign up page rather than the home page. We have already signed up in the app. We don't need to sign up again and again. So let me close this app again and I will show you it again. Again the same result. So let me add the few function to solve that. So in service file I will create auth.dart function and will give a class name auth method here. Basically auth methods will check that if I sign up into the app or not. If I sign up into the app and I have the ID in this app, then it will allow me to directly go to the home page and start the chat. But if not, he will move me to the sign up page and tell me to create the account first and then move to the home page. So we'll get current user function. So get user function will check if I have the account in this app or not. So now we'll move to the main.dart file again and we'll use a future builder here to check that if the snapshot has data, basically if my details are present inside the Firebase or Firestore, then he will allow me to directly goes to inside the app. Otherwise, he will tell me to sign up, then move to the home page of the app. So this function will be handled by the snapshot here. So if snapshot will dot has data, so it will check if my data is present, then he will move to the home page. Otherwise, he will move me to the sign up page and will in future will pass the auth methods what we have wrote inside the service file. We'll rerun the app again and I will show how it will work. So our app has launched successfully and as you can see we have moved to the home page rather than the sign up page. So these functions are working perfectly. Now I will move to the home screen of my device again and will remove the app from the background and I will launch the app again. So now as you can see we directly move to the home page rather than moving the sign up page again and again. So it is done. So now I will show you how the two devices will communicate each other using our app when they are having real-time chat inside the same chat room. On the left side you can see the screen recording of my real Android device where I run the app. So I will create a new account in my real device. So I am writing here name Satyam Sharma and email satyam244@gmail.com and will give password and confirm password. Now I will click on the sign up button, wait for a few seconds. So as you can see, we have registered successfully. Now I will move to the our iPhone emulator and I will create a new account to this device. So in name I am writing Prem Sharma and email I will give prem345@gmail.com. Now password and confirm password. Click on the sign up button. Wait for a few seconds. So as you can see, we have registered successfully. Now I will search for the username Satyam here that we have created the account on my real device. So I will search Satyam here. Now you can see the username here. I will click to the username and will move to the chat page. Now I will write the text inside the text field. So hey, now after sending the message, you can see that Satyam have received the message from Prem in just few seconds. Now I will reply to the Prem, which is our emulator. So as you can see, we have received the message, hey here. Now I will write, how are you doing? And will send the message. And we receive the message in our emulator in few seconds. So as you can see, our app is running successfully in all the device and you can see the real-time chat what I am talking about. So now Satyam send the message to Prem and Prem have received the message in just few seconds. So as you can see how the two devices are communicating each other or sending the message very easily and they are getting the message in just few seconds. Thank you for joining us in the Flutter Chat app development journey. Let's quickly recap what we have covered today. We set up our Flutter environment for app development, also learn to implement secure user authentication with Firebase, real-time chat between the two users, and many more. But I have a small request from you. Please do not forget to hit that like button so that we can reach the goal of just 100 likes, and also do not forget to hit that subscribe button so that you won't miss out on any of the videos we upload on this channel. Until then, keep coding, keep having fun. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.